Hi, this is Sara Levin, the Artful Inker. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in the United States. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today, I'm sharing this bright, happy birthday card. Let me set this aside and we'll get to the creating. To start this card, we're going to use a piece of basic white, and I'm just going to slip a piece of scrap paper underneath, and I've got one of my plates from my Stamparatus and my Crush Curry ink pad and a blending brush. So let me move these things around and set them all up on the same side. So I'm inking up my blending brush, and then I'm going to tap it off on my Stamparatus plate, and that will keep that ink in play. It doesn't dry or get absorbed the way that it does when you tap it onto a piece of scrap paper. And so initially I like to get just a light blend going. And then I'm going to want to intensify this. And this ink that's here on my Stamparatus, I can go back and pick that up and use it to intensify my ink instead of having to go to the ink pad each time. And I still want to tap off right after loading up the blending brush on the ink pad, so that when I start over here on my piece of cardstock, I'm not ending up with a big blop of ink that has a little texture pattern in it. This gives me a really nice, smooth blend. And of course it does take a little while to build up the intensity of color that you want. And we're almost there. Now I am going to bring the lighter part of the blend all the way down to this corner. And then I want the more intense part of the blend here, kind of in the center, and then radiating out a softer shade. Okay, that looks like it's going to do it for us. So let me put these pieces out of the way. Grab my Crush Curry ink and close it up, and let's set this out of the way. Next we're going to pull in our Stamparatus, and I've already got part of my sentiment here lined up, and it is from Happiest of Birthdays. You can find that in the annual catalog, or use the link in the description below to my Stampin' Up! Store, and you can find it there. So I'm just going to place my magnets on to hold this in place, and I've got my Memento ink, and I've got a piece of scrap paper here. Oop, and I'm well out of camera, so let's slide this over. Okay, so I'm going to mask my sentiment, and I'm just using scrap paper. Now I feel pretty good about using scrap paper with this ink pad because it's not as juicy as the firm foam, so you're not going to have bleed through. Now, of course, if you ink it too many times, you will have bleed through, regardless of whether you're using the Memento pad or one of the firm foam. Okay, so we have our birthday there along the bottom, and let's pull pieces out, and we're going to set this aside. Next, we're going to use the Pretty Perennials stamp set for this Big Happy sentiment here. This is in the January to June mini catalog, and I've got a piece of basic white, and I'm using an embossing buddy. Any kind of anti-static tool would work, and I'm going to ink up my Happy in Versamark, just patting it over a couple of times to make sure that it's inked. And then I want to give myself some space around the word, so I'm not putting it all the way at the bottom of my piece of cardstock. Okay, let's move that out of the way, and then I need my scrap paper and my heat and stick, and let's sprinkle that across our word, and everything looks like it's caught well there. And pop this out of the way. Let me grab my heat tool, and we're going to turn this on low and let it heat up. And the reason for using low is that you need to stop heating as soon as the heat and stick turns. That's when it's become sticky, and if you heat past that point like you would with embossing powder to give it a good thorough melting, then you've heated the heat and stick too far, and the low setting helps us to get it just right. Okay, I'm just going to touch that a couple of places and make sure that it is indeed sticky. And I see a little bit of eyelash there. Okay, and let's sprinkle on some of the gilding flakes. Gilded Leafing. This is from the mini catalog, January to June. Also found in my Stampin' Up store. My favorite new bling. Okay, let's toss this off a little bit, the excess. And we're just going to put this right back in our bottle over here. For those of you who signed up for my last project box, of course you're getting some of the Gilded Leafing in your box. That'll be fun to play with. Okay, and then I've got a piece of stamping sponge here, and I'm just going to give this a good burnish. Okay, let's move this out of the way. And I want to give this one more heating now at this point, and that will set that heat and stick powder the rest of the way. Okay, and I'm going to take just a moment and clean this up, and I'll be right back. Okay, so we've got our Gilded Happy here, and I'm going to take my paper snips and cut around this, and I'm leaving a more generous border. You can use the linked video that I've referenced just here. That'll help you with this style of cutting. Let's trim this out. And then I want to come on down and around these edges. And I do, even for some of the straighter edges, give a rounded cut with my scissors. And we're almost done. Okay, so there we have our Happy. And we've got a little bit of stamping that we need to do. I've got another piece of basic white that we're going to use on the inside of our card, and my Magenta Madness ink pad, and this little loopy flower from Pretty Perennials. It's not exactly what we've got on the front, but it does bring some of that color and bright happiness inside. Next, we're going to use our Magenta Madness card base and add this liner to the inside. Now the card base is cut at 4 1/4 by 11 and scored at 5 1/2. And I'm just using my multi-purpose glue to add this, checking to see if I'm centered. Okay, and then let's bring our panel that we blended and add dimensionals. Remember to be generous with these so that your card is not sagging. You've got to support the edges and the middle. Okay. And then there we go. Now before I put my next bits down, I've got my black Stampin' Blends, the dark, and I want to add a little bit of black splatter. Might do a little more subtle down here, and not looking for heavy splatter. And then we're going to use 2 of the sunflower die cuts from the sunflower dies, and they're in Magenta Madness. And I'm going to add some mini dimensionals around on this inside ring. And give this just a slight offset. And then we'll do the mini dimensionals again on this second one. We'll double stack this one since it shows through, and let it help hold the 2 sunflowers. Oops. Backing pieces want to go with us. I'm thinking my house must be on the dry side with that much static. Okay, so let's put these guys down and then bring our Happy in, and I'm going to use a combination of the mini dimensionals and full-size dimensionals on this, just making sure that out here on these edge pieces that I'm totally inside the letters. And I think up here at the top, where did I put my snips? I need to give this just the barest little angle cut on both sides so that my dimensional isn't peeking out. Okay, we're going to straighten up my card and angle my sentiment up here just a tiny bit. I want another dimensional behind the H. It doesn't look like it's going to be level otherwise. There we go. That looks good. Okay, so let's add just a little bit of bling and we're ready to go. We're going to use some of the in color enamel dots and add some more magenta madness goodness to this card. Oops. Oh, my dot just came apart. Let me put that over here and pick up another dot and put that down over here. Okay, so there's our happy birthday card, which is very happy. If you're in the US, please do some of your shopping for Stampin' Up! Products in my store. You can find a link below. Give this video a thumbs up and then share it with your card making friends. And of course, subscribe to my YouTube channel and click the bell if you'd like to be notified the next time I upload a video. Thanks for stopping in. Have a good day. Bye.